Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu salam ala Rasulullah. We'll continue reading from the beginning of guidance, Bidayat al-Hidayah. And inshallah, this is the last reading of this wonderful book. Reflects the wisdom of Imam Al-Ghazali that he gained over the years, but the years in which he tended to his heart, the very last part was about friends and brothers, acquaintances, family, and in fact, it is sad that when he mentioned the 5 attributes that a friend, a brother should have to qualify as a friend, to qualify as a brother, he said that you will not. I mean, it's not an absolute generalization, but he said you will not find them in schools, meaning schools of the time. The schools of the time were full with scholars. Remember that few hundred students, including scholars, attended his lectures in Baghdad. So he said that you will not find them in schools, you will not find them in mosques, you will not find them in circles of learning of, and that's really sad. And he was speaking about his time, and he hinted, in fact, he mentioned the notion that you might want to be you might consider seclusion. He did for a while. The very last thing that we have read is to be like a believer who seeks excuses not for himself but for others. Do not be like a hypocrite who seeks the faults, really, as if someone is counting points, negative points for others. Don't be like that. Somebody does not show up for an event. Think about an excuse. Maybe he is sick, so may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speed his recovery. Maybe he was kept by he could not come because of financial hardship. And then it's your own friendship, your own brotherhood that is called for questioning if you did not know this. Always think about perhaps he was unable to do it for some reason I'm not aware of. Do not admonish any of them, of the acquaintances, unless you first see in him a willingness to accept it, lest he refuse to hear it from you and turn against you. If one of them has made a mistake in some matter and arrogantly refuses to take advice from anyone, do not teach them, for they may derive benefit from your knowledge and yet become your enemy, except when they have committed an act of disobedience in ignorance, بجهالة, in which case you should remind them of the truth gently, without being harsh. If you see that they have done you an act of generosity or goodness, thank Allah who has caused them to love you. But if you see something malicious from them, leave them to Allah, mighty and majestic. Seek His protection from their harm, and do not censure them, nor say to them, don't you know who I am? Or, I am so and so, the son of so and so. or I am a very knowledgeable person. This is the speech of the fools. And the most foolish person is one who deems himself upright and praises himself. You should know that Allah, mighty and majestic, would not give them power over you except because of some sin you committed in the past. Again, you should know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala azza wa jal would not give them power over you except because of some sin you committed in the past. So seek Allah's forgiveness for your sin and realize that it is a punishment for you from Him. Could this be also the case of not only of individuals, of societies, that they need to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they need to seek His forgiveness so that their affairs would change? Be among them as one who hears the true things they say and turns a deaf ear to their falsehoods, one who speaks about their good qualities and remains silent about their shortcomings. Be wary of associating with the pseudo jurists of your time. Pseudo jurists, of course, the word pseudo is not there in the Arabic, but the phony ones, the superficial ones, especially those who busy themselves with differences of opinion and disputation, for they will just be waiting for a disastrous turn of fortune to strike you out of envy. How do you know that someone is really on? It's sad. It's sad how um, we differ. There are commonalities with the people of the book, but we have serious differences. And I could not uh, find the bitterness between the attacks between non-Muslim scholars the way I find it today in amongst Muslims who sometimes they have nothing except attacking other people. They gained reputation through attacking other people. This is a very sad situation. Intolerance for the other opinion, the possibility of another understanding, especially like a teacher of Islamic studies who tried to discuss, to raise an issue with someone who was giving a lecture at a local mosque in Jerusalem many years ago. So no names of the followers of that speaker literally physically carried that teacher outside the mosque. They threw him outside the mosque, and I pleaded with them not to do it. That's very sad. Differences. لا سيما المشتغلين بالخلاف والجدال. And sometimes the people claim to like a monopoly on truth. Sometimes this comes from, could be the result of being a member of an organization, a party, a group, a movement. Where is adab al-khilaf? Again, I will read this paragraph. Be wary of associating with the pseudo-jurists of your time, especially those who busy themselves with differences of opinion and disputation, for they will just be waiting for a disastrous turn of fortune to strike you out of envy. They will make conclusive judgments about you based on negative supposition, and will wink at one another about you behind your back. Meaning, if you keep their company, they take account. If you keep their company, they take account of your every slip, then confront you with them, all when they are angry or during a debate. They do not help you when you stumble, forgive you when you slip, nor cover up any fault you may have. They take you into account over the most trivial, insignificant things, and envy you over every blessing, great or small. They incite your brothers against you by tale-bearing, gossiping, and false accusation. If they seem pleased with you, outwardly they are all flattery. If they get angry, they reveal a deep inward resentment. They are externally clothed, but within they are wolves. In Arabic it rhymes ظاهرهم ثياب وباطنهم ذئاب. The appearance is the appearance of a human. That's exactly what it means, really. The appearance is the appearance of a human being, externally clothed, but the essence is that of a wolf. Predators. This is the conclusion one comes to about them after observing the majority of them, except those whom Allah Most High protects. To keep their company is to incur loss, and close association with them leads to utter failure. If this is the judgment of one who affects friendship outwardly, what then of one who openly shows his enmity to you? Take the advice of the one who said in poetry, be cautious of your enemy once, yet be wary of your friend 1,000 times, for it may be that the friend will turn against you, and then knows better how to harm you. احذر عدوك مرة واحذر صديقك 1000 مرة فلربما انقلب الصديق فكان أعرف بالمضرة. And again another two verses, it has been similarly said, your enemy may sometimes come from your friends, so do not have too many friends, for most of the diseases that you see have their origins in eating and drinking. عدوك من صديقك مستفاد فلا تستكثرن من الصحاب فإن الداء أكثر ما تراه يكون من الطعام أو الشراب. Too much of it will cause basically sickness. And then Imam Al-Ghazali quotes a long poem, a longer poem, uh, about 7 verses of poetry from هلال ibn هلال ibn العلاء الرقي from الرقة. He said, when I forgave all and harbored no rancor toward any, I relieved myself of the worry of enmity. لما عفوت لم أحقد على أحد أرحت نفسي من هم العداوات. Indeed, I give good greetings to my enemy upon seeing him, so as to repel evil with salutations. إني أحيي عدوي عند رؤيته لأدفع الشر عني بالتحيات وأظهر البشرى للإنسان أبغضه كأنه قد ملأ قلبي مسراتي. I display joy in meeting one I despise, as if he has filled my heart with happiness. This Imam Ghazali used the language of the Quran in prose, and used the language of the Hadith also in prose. Uh, and we have several sound traditions, in fact, narrated by Bukhari and Muslim also. Uh, the the hadith itself, one matan, one text. إنا لنكشف في وجوه أقوام وقلوب تلعنهم, uh, that we smile in the face of some people, but our hearts are cursing them. وإن قلوبنا تلعنهم. And another matan, it adds ونضحك إليهم, إنا نكشف في وجوه أقوام ونضحك إليهم وإن قلوبنا تلعنهم. And there's a hadith of Sayyidah Aisha in which a man came and to the Prophet, but before he entered, the Prophet ﷺ, said that he is the worst companion, if you will. But then when he entered, the Prophet ﷺ was lenient, was nice to him, and then when he left, in Sayyidah Aisha radhiallahu anha asked the Prophet ﷺ, how come? And he mentioned something to the effect that some people are this is the way you deal with them. They are real enemies, but you try to be nice to them so that their evil will not be you don't give them a reason to and specifically the hadith is إن شر الناس منزلة عند الله من تركه الناس أو ودعه الناس اتقاء فحشه. The worst of people the worst of people in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is someone whom people abandon or just leave alone. They avoid his vice, and this is again narrated by Al-Bukhari and Muslim. The other 4 verses. I'm not even safe with those I do not know. How then could I be safe with those who affect loving me? People are an illness, and their cure is abandoning them. By harshness toward them, the bonds of brotherhood are cut. So make peace with people, and you will be safe from the troubles they cause. And be avid to acquire chivalrous traits. Deal with people with good character, and be patient as long as you remain with them. So no evil, hear no evil, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Be you circumspect. ولست أسلم ممن لست أعرفه، فكيف أسلم من أهل المودات. الناس دواء الناس تركهم، وفي الجفاء لهم قطع الأخوات. فسالم الناس تسلم من غوائلهم، وكن حريصا على كسب المروات. فخالق الناس واصبر ما بقيت لهم، أصم أبكم أعمى ذا تقيات. And be as some of the sages have said, meet your friend and your enemy with the same face, one of contempt, one of contentment, neither lowering yourself to them in humiliation nor looking up to them in awe. Have a dignified bearing without arrogance, and show humility without abasement. Take the middle course in all your matters, because both extremes in any matter are blameworthy. Do not look around from side to side with self conceit, nor constantly glance behind you. Do not stop and talk to every group you come across, and if you do sit down with them, do not sit in a restless manner. The translation of ولا تنظر في عاطفيك, looking, it was translated here, do not look around from from side to side. I think paying attention to your own clothing, showing off, uh, ostentation. That's basically the problem. It's not looking side to side. It's literally, you know, uh, looking at yourself in a way that shows that you are, considering yourself higher um, than them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a'la wa alam. That's about ولا تنظر في عاطفيك. Make sure you avoid clasping your fingers together, playing with your beard or ring, picking your teeth, putting your finger up your nose, a lot of spitting or clearing your throat, swatting flies away from your face, and too much stretching or yawning, whether in front of people in the ritual prayer or elsewhere. Obviously, some of these are let's talk about nasty behavior. Whether it's talk about putting your finger up your nose. Uh, some people have it as a habit, like continuously. Uh, like almost almost 30 years ago, I had a colleague who would basically, whenever you see him, his finger is up his nose. And of course, what's next after when you see each other? At least the first time of the during the day at the university, he stretches his hand to shake his hand with you. Rather, let the way you sit be quiet and calm, and your speech orderly and thought out well. Pay proper attention to the good conversation of the one speaking to you, without showing exaggerated amazement. And do not ask him to repeat himself. Remain silent when people are joking and telling stories. Do not speak about how proud you are of your children, your poetry, your mode of expression, your literary work, or other matters personal to you. Do not go to great lengths to dress yourself up as a woman does. Uh, okay. Probably to dress yourself, that could be part of the picture, but also it, you know, yeah, beautifying yourself. It's The rest of it really attests to this. Yes. Nor let yourself be unkempt and unruly like a slave. Avoid wearing too much kuhl in your eyes. The eyeliner, the old-fashioned eyeliner, the kuhl, or being extravagant in your use of oil. Okay. Of course, this is for your hair, for your beard, and while the word don has been translated into oil, um, perfume uh, somehow was also being mixed with fat, and the word in Arabic not mentioned here would be تضميخ, and today they sell these oils, if you will, for the beard, etc. Do not go to great lengths to do not insist rather upon having your needs met. Do not encourage anyone else to commit oppression. Do not inform your spouse or children, let alone anyone else, of the amount of your wealth, for if they consider it to be little, you will be of little importance to them, and if it is a lot, you will never satisfy them. Be strict with them without being harsh, and be lenient without being weak. Do not joke around with your male or female servants, or your dignity will be lost. In arguments with others, guard against your own ignorance and rashness. Consider well your points before you make them. Do not gesticulate too much. Keep turning around to look at those behind you, or fall to your knees. Speak only when your anger has abated. If the ruler tries to befriend you and bring you close, be with him as you would the sharp edge of a spearhead. Beware of the fair weather friend, for he is the worst of enemies. And do not value your wealth more than your honor. Meaning, if the price of preserving honor is paying money, this is not extortion. Like it's then do pay money. The very last page of the epilogue. This amount of advice should be enough for you, dear young one. فهذا القدر يا فتى يكفيك في بداية الهداية. أيها الولد, the book of Imam Al-Ghazali, in education, So أيها الولد يا فتى سألتني أيها الأخ في الدين. I think المنقذ. So this amount of advice should be enough for you, dear young one, at the beginning of the path of guidance. Experiment with it on yourself. It has three sections: a section on acting in obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a section on refraining from disobedience, and a section on relationships with creation. Taken together, these three elements fully encompass the servant's interactions with the Creator and His creation. If you see it relevant to you and you find your heart inclining toward it and desiring to act upon it, then know that you are a servant whose heart Allah has illuminated with true faith and whose breast has been expanded to accept it. It's not about information. And without this expansion, without Nur, it's a lost case. And be absolutely certain that this beginning has an end, and behind it are spiritual secrets, depths of understanding, types of knowledge, and unveilings. We have explained these matters in the revival of the religious sciences in Ihya Ulumuddin, so make an effort to study it. If, on the other hand, you find that your lower self considers these tasks too burdensome and regards this kind of knowledge as too much trouble, asking you, how will this type of knowledge benefit you in the gatherings of scholars? When will it cause you to excel among your colleagues and peers? How will it raise your status in the meetings of leaders and ministers? How will it afford you connections with noteworthy figures, higher earnings, and positions of rank and endowments, or in the legal courts? Know then that Satan has misguided you and caused you to forget your destiny, which is to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and your final abode in the hereafter. So find a devil like yourself to teach you what you think will bring you to your goal, and know with certainty that any dominion you may have in your immediate locality, let alone in your town or country, will never be without troubles. Moreover, in exchange, you will lose the everlasting dominion and eternal bliss in the proximity of the Lord of the worlds. He is enough for us and the best of patrons. All praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds. May Allah continue to send blessings and abundant peace upon our Master Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family and companions until the day of judgment. وهو حسبنا ونعم الوكيل والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا إلى يوم الدين. جزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.